Welcome to SATV News. This is Nuri Alamin with the headlines. UK to give full support for holding peaceful, credible elections, said British High Commissioner Sarah Cook. Old game started again in Chattogram hill tracks, said Hafizuddin. Incidents in hill track and garment sector not isolated. A group is involved, said Ruhul Kabir Rizvi. Unrest in Khagrachari fueled by India or fascist elements, said Home Advisor Jahangir Alam. Now in details. The United Kingdom has reiterated its support for a free, fair, credible and peaceful election in Bangladesh. British High Commissioner Sarah Cook stated that the UK stands to assist the Election Commission in facilitating the process. The High Commissioner made this remark today after meeting with Chief Election Commissioner AMM Nasiruddin at the Election Commission office in Agargaon. Speaking to reporter after the meeting with Sarah Cook said, "We have reiterated the UK support for a free, fair, credible and peaceful election in Bangladesh for the next year. We appreciate the effort of the Election Commission, the interim government and our international partner." She also added, UK is supporting the Election Commission particularly through the voter election and training of polling personnel under the National Civic Education Program with a focus on marginalized group. On inclusive election, the High Commissioner stated the UK support a free, fair, credible and peaceful election in Bangladesh next year. BNP Standing Committee member Major Hafizuddin Ahmed today said the free and election are not possible by keeping the elements of the autocracy in administration. He also said that associates of the autocrat are still active in this administration. Hafizuddin made this remark today during a discussion held at the National Press Club. He also added that Bangladesh is still unable to take the necessary steps on the electoral map because the autocrat associates are still steering the current administration. No measures have been taken to remove that. What if they say stay the election would not be fair? Regarding to the proportional representation system, Hafizuddin said election cannot be held under the PR system. The people of the country have no idea about it. He also added, condemning Sunday Ahmed attack by miscreant in the Guimara Upazila of Khagrachari district. Hafiz said the old game has started again in CHD. Meanwhile, in another program, BNP Senior Joint Secretary General Ruhul Kabir Rizvi said recent incident of unrest in the hill track are worrying people and making them anxious. The BNP leader also said Bangladesh has always wanted peace and seek to work toward the coexistence. Home Affairs Advisor, retired Lieutenant General Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhuri has said that a certain quarter is trying to create an unstable situation in Khagrachari, allegedly instigated by India or fascist element. We are mobilizing our maximum effort so that no one can create further unrest Khagrachari. He also said, while inaugurating the construction of administrative camp barrack, building the 5 police station under the Dhaka Metropolitan Police at the old Ramna Thana complex in the capital. The Chattogram Hill Track advisor had held a meeting with a local leader and law enforcement agency to ensure a stable situation in Khagrachari. 3 people were killed and several other including police and military personnel were injured in recent unrest in district. The Home Advisor added that the group is also trying to create chaos across the country so that the ongoing Durga Puja, which began yesterday, couldn't be celebrated peacefully and safely. The International Crimes Tribunal has fixed for 18 October for hearing the formal charge farming against Hasanul Haq Inu, Jatiyo Samajtantrik Dol President and former Information Minister, in a case over the crime against humanity in Kustia during the July uprising on last year. Today, International Crime Tribunal 2, headed by Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhuri, issued the order after hearing both prosecution and defense application on the matter. The day had earlier been scheduled for hearing on the formal charges. During the session, the prosecution sought the week time, while defense counsel Nazdin Nahar requested an extension of 2 more days. Prosecutor Ghazi and Tamim argued on behalf of prosecution. After considering both sides, the tribunal set October 14, the date for the hearing. On the same day, the prosecution submitted formal charges presenting 8 specific allegations against INU, including claim adding the people 7 pure killing July and August. The country's Hindu community is celebrating its biggest festival, Durga Puja. On the second day, the festival Mahasaptami is being celebrated. Ritual of Mahasaptami began this morning at temple across the country, including the Dhakeshwari Mandir, the national temple in the capital. Devotees offer prayer, chant mantras, present Anjali at the goddess feet, and receive praise throughout the day. Bangladesh Puja Ujjapan Parishad President the Basudev Dhar said every temple started its Saptami Puja early in the morning. Continuing with Anjali, the prasad distributing throughout the day, Durga Puja festive and the full swing in Dhaka city. Viewers, we're taking a short break. Stay with us.
Luxury in Dhaka.
Welcome back, and you are watching SATV News. Now news from abroad. A man who crashed his vehicle through the front door on a Mormon church in the Michigan opened fire with an assault rifle, said the crash ablaze, killing at least 4 people and wounding at least 8 others before dying to shoot out, what police officials said on Sunday. Police said the perpetrator, identified as Thomas Jacob Stanford, a former U.S. Marine from the nearby town in Bertram, deliberately set fire to the church, which was engulfed in flame and blowing the smoke. 2 of the shooting victims died and 8 others were hospitalized. Officials said several hours after shooting, police reported finding at least 2 more bodies in the church. Remains of the church, which had not yet been cleared, and many contain other victims. There are some that the unaccounted for Grand Blanc Township. Police Chief William Wren told a press conference. Hundreds of people were the charge when Stanford drove into the building. Wren said the Michigan rampage marked the 324th mass shooting in the U.S. in 2025, according to the gun vehicles archive.
Like the fact that my hands are shaking, it's.
Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese on Sunday reaffirmed the country's support for the establishment of a Palestinian state during the address at the UK Labour Party conference room in Liverpool. We want to see and we understand that so far it's so much essential for Israeli and Palestinians to be able to live in lasting and secure peace. And Albanese said Australia formally recognized a Palestinian state alongside Canada and Britain as part of the effort to revive momentum for a two-state solution, the state with a ceasefire in Gaza and release of hostages held there. Iran's parliament on Sunday condemned what it called illegal sanctions the United Nations reimposed over its nuclear program. Britain, France and Germany initiated the return of an arms embargo, the sanction on Iran at the UN Security Council over accusation it has violated a 2015 deal with aim to stop developing a nuclear bomb. The Speaker of Iran Parliament, Mohammad Baghir Ghaifur, warned European power the decision would be made with a harsh response. We declare that if any country attempt to take action against Iran based on this illegal resolution, it will face a reciprocal and serious response from Iran, and the three European countries that initiated this illegal action will also witness our reaction, he also said. After a weekend of intensive Russian bombardment of Ukraine, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius on Monday called for the European Union to provide a much more flexible regulatory framework for a defense industry in Europe. We all provide sustainable support to Ukraine more resiliently and forcefully than in recent months, Pistorius said at the Warsaw Security Forum. Europe's and Ukraine defense industry must work together and more closely and effectively, and European Union must back this by providing a much more flexible regulatory framework for defense industry in Europe. The Kremlin on Monday accused all the authorities in Moldova of preventing hundreds of thousands of Moldovans living in Russia from voting an important parliamentary election by providing only 2 polling stations for voters in the country. Moldova's pro-European Union ruling party won a resounding victory over its Russian-leaning rival in the parliamentary election on Sunday, a major boost for those Moldovan who want to join the EU and break away from Moscow orbit. In a call with reporter, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said on Moldovan living in Russia, who are traditionally more likely to vote of pro-Russian political forces at home and been unable to cast their vote. Hundreds of thousands of Moldovan were deprived of the opportunity of vote in the Russian Federation due to the fact of only 2 polling stations were open to them, said Peskov. Rescue workers and residents began the clear up after Russia launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Kiev and other parts of Ukraine early on Sunday, killing at least 4 people and injured dozens. Ukraine military said that Russia launched 595 drones and 49 missiles overnight, and its air defense shot down 5 drones and 43 missiles. It noted that main target of the strike was capital Kyiv. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the attack, which lasted more than 12 hours, damaged a cardiology clinic, factories and residential building. Ukraine would like to build a joint aerial defense shield to protect against threats from Russia together with its European partner, said Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Monday. Ukraine proposes to Poland and all our partners to build a joint, fully reliable shield against Russian aerial threats, he said in an address to the Warsaw Security Forum delivered via video link. This is possible. Ukraine can counter all kinds of Russian drone and missile, and if we act together in the region, we will have enough weapon and production capacity. He also added, we believe that US President Donald Trump's attitude towards Ukraine and security and Europe had changed. NATO leader have been Russia said it has been testing the alliance readiness and resolve with airspace incursion in Poland, and a ballistic state Kiev said its experience in dealing with aerial threat would be valuable.
Shield against Russian aerial threat have,
8 people died and 17 others were missing after Typhoon Valoi hit Vietnam on Monday, with houses damaged and power grid knocked out as the storm brought flooding rains and huge swell before losing some of its strength as it headed towards Laos. The Valoi had moved along the country's northern central coastline before making landfall only on Monday. By 11 a.m., the typhoon was moving overnight, and the previous launch with the maximum wind spread weakened the 74 km per hour, 170 km per hour when it made rainfall, said the weather agency.
Đặc biệt là tiếp tục đảm bảo an toàn cho hệ thống đê biển và hồ chứa.
Tamil actor turned politician Vijay's late arrival at a political meeting in the southern Indian town of Karur was the major reason of a stampede that killed at least 39 people over the weekend, said some residents on Monday. The state has appointed a commission led by a retired judge to investigate the cause of the stampede. The police have also registered a criminal case against the leader of Vijay's party. Vijay was campaigning in the district of Karur on Sunday for his Tamilga Veterans party ahead of a state election early on next year. When the incident occurred, normally Vijay waved to public at a bypass junction, but this time he didn't appointed. People waiting rushed to meeting the venue of his speech. According to resident Vijay, one of the India's most valuable cinema bankable actor for the 3 decades, said earlier heartbroken by the stampede in the Karur district, placing separate for the victims' families. The United States and Mexico launched a new bilateral initiative aimed at disrupting for the flow of illicit firearms across their shared border. The Mexican president announced on Saturday the U.S.-Mexico Security Implementation Group was formed earlier on monthly during Secretary Marco Rubio's visit in Mexico to enhance joint action against the narco-fixing arms smuggling. As part of the new initiative, Mexico will expand its use of U.S. tracking tools such as e-trace and ballistic image technology to all 33 states, while both countries will increase the joint investigation, prosecution, and intelligence sharing department. The initiative, also called the Deeper Bilateral Investigation, more prosecutions, and ramp up the U.S. inspection to stop the sounding weapon.
Queremos que por primera vez lo primero que se discuta son las armas que vienen.
Before ending, we go through the SATV News headlines again. UK to give full support for holding peaceful, credible elections, said British High Commissioner Sarah Cook. Old game started again in Chattogram Hill Tracks, said Hafizuddin. Incident in Hill Tracks and garment sector not isolated. A group is involved, said Rizvi. Unrest in Kagraturi fueled by India or fascist elements, said Home Advisor Jahangir Alam. You are up to date with our top stories so far here on SATV. And to know the latest news, visit www.satv.tv. Stay with SATV.